I wasn't chasing ghosts when I went to Hotel del Salto. I just wanted something quiet, somewhere to be invisible. After the breakup and the months of feeling like a shadow in my own life, Colombia felt far enough away. The guidebook called the Tequendama Falls majestic, almost spiritual, and the hotel, converted into a museum, was supposed to be closed to overnight guests. But the woman at the desk barely looked up when I asked, just slid a single old-fashioned key across the counter. A bronze tag attached, room 304, but the number had been scratched out, not by accident. "We're running a private trial," she said. "Only me and one other guest. Doors lock at 9. No night staff, no contact." It should have sounded strange, but it felt like exactly what I deserved. The room overlooked the falls. Mist clung to the glass like breath. I barely slept that first night. Not because of noise, but because of what I didn't hear. It was the kind of silence that presses into your ears, that makes you think you're forgetting how sound works. At 2:11 a.m., I heard it. A soft, wet thud from below, not quite human, but close. Then a slow creak across the hall. I sat up and stared at my door. It clicked shut, quiet, deliberate. I told myself it was the other guest, but when I cracked the door to look, the hallway was empty. No footprints, no sound, only the pressure of water in the air. I thought of something I read once, that suicides at Del Salto didn't always open their windows, that sometimes the hotel opened them for you. The next morning, I met the other guest, or what was left of him. He knocked, handed me a note written in jagged Spanish, and turned away without a word. He was soaked, dripping, but it wasn't raining. When I translated the note, my throat went dry. "Don't listen to the water. It lies. They told me my mother was waiting at the bottom. She's not. That's not her voice." He was in room 305 beside mine. That night I heard him again, a soft scraping against the wall we shared. Then a voice, not his, not fully human, low, liquid, whispering in a tongue I didn't recognize, almost like it was spoken underwater. If you're hearing things too, don't worry. Hit subscribe, and tell us where you're listening from. I wandered the halls the next day and found a room lined with dusty museum plaques. One caught my eye. It told of the Muisca people, how, during the Spanish conquest, they chose death over slavery, leapt from the cliff together. But they didn't believe they were dying. They believed they were transforming into birds, into wind, free. It made something in my chest twist, a freedom I'd never felt. At the bottom of the plaque, a list of known suicides, dozens of names, dozens of dates. One name had no date, just pending. Next to it, a faint thumbprint, red and oily. As I turned to leave, a bird slammed into the window just behind me. It died without a sound. That night, the falls sounded different. Not roaring, not rushing, whispering, soft, persistent, like a breath against my neck. I turned off all the lights. It didn't help. The voice didn't need sound. It moved through me, in my head, in my bones. It said my name, not out loud, but like a memory. Then it said, "You came here for a reason. You came to jump. He did too." My curtains were drawn tight, but the window was open, and on the floor, wet footprints, leading from the window to the edge of my bed. I pounded on room 305, no answer. I burst in. The room was dry, window sealed, no luggage, no note. Just the same moist air clinging to the walls like mildew and grief. I ran downstairs, no clerk, no lights, no life. I called the number from check-in. Out of service, in the lobby, I stared at the old fireplace portrait of the architect, Carlos Tapias. Before, he had been alone in the photo. Now, behind him, a blurred silhouette, falling, arms wide like wings. On the floor beneath the portrait, a note in the same jagged hand. "She knows your name now. She won't stop calling." I didn't pack, didn't say goodbye, just walked toward the edge. No panic, No fear, just stillness. The cliff looked peaceful. The mist hugged my skin like a warm exhale. The wind pulled at me gently. And then, silence. Not from outside, but inside. A voice. Low, ancient, beautiful. You were always meant to come home. The fall doesn't hurt. The guilt does. I stepped forward. My toes curled over the ledge. And then I remembered something. The man, the sobbing, the final words that came through the wall that first night. She doesn't stop at the fall. She follows you down. You think you're flying. But you're not a bird. You're a cage. You've been listening to Room 44. If you ever visit Hotel del Salto, don't listen to the water. Don't trust the silence. And if a window opens by itself, don't look down. Like this video if you've ever felt the pull of something you couldn't explain. Subscribe if you still check hotel windows before you sleep. And tell us in the comments, where are you listening from? And how far are you from the edge?